There's 3 toxic games used against introverts. Number 1 is gaslighting. Number 2 is the good morning game. And number 3 is talking really fast. Today, I'm going to show you how these games work and how you can win against them. So number 1 is gaslighting. You may have experienced this strange phenomenon where people just seem to be doing things that are weird. They may start changing the rules when you're at work. You may experience being spoken over in a meeting, or people may pretend that they've trained you on something when you actually haven't been trained. Now this is gaslighting. It's an experience where you feel like if someone is saying something that is blatantly untrue, but you just can't pin them down on that fact. It feels like if you're going crazy. I remember this specifically with the experience of being talked over in a meeting. I remember a few years ago when I was trying to make my point in a meeting. I was just talking about my presentation, and then suddenly the senior manager just talked over me. Suddenly, when I'm just getting to the crux of my point, I get talked over. And it's very confusing, and I was just trying to understand, why would someone do this? Now, gaslighting is a way of making you as an introvert feel insecure and making you feel incompetent. And the aim is to disrupt your flow, your mental rhythm. Essentially, gaslighting is a way to make you feel incompetent, because as introverts, you tend to be very competent in terms of your inner confidence. You know what you know, you have great knowledge of your skills, and you can implement them. But that makes people feel envious and jealous. So they have to find a way to block you from stealing their limelight. And this is one of the ways to do it. So what are the solutions that is kind of unintuitive, especially for someone who's an introvert, someone who's really smart, is actually to seem dumber than your mark. So this is something that I got from the Law of Power 21. Seem dumber than your mark. If you tone down how smart you are at the workplace, you can actually make yourself feel, yes, you will feel dumber, but your peers, and especially your superiors who feel insecure around you, are going to start reducing the amount of gaslighting they do against you, because they're not going to feel threatened anymore. So always keep that in mind. If you're starting to get this feeling of gaslighting, perhaps it's time to just tone down how smart you are and basically act dumb. I actually cover many of these strategies of how to actually seem dumber than your mark in my custom Introvert Strategies plan. You can hit me up on introvertstrategies@gmail.com. All right, let's get going. Number 2 is the good morning game. You may have experienced this weird thing where you come into the office, you're saying good morning to people, and for some reason, they decide to just ignore you out of nowhere. And you may have experienced that suddenly they start treating you badly. So not only did they ignore you in the morning, all of a sudden they just start treating you badly. What happened? Basically, you failed the good morning game. And the good morning game is this way that human beings subconsciously test the strength and inner confidence of other people by ignoring them, especially in the mornings, because they know that good morning is a way to socially smooth things out and just basically be a normal and kind human being. So when people don't say good morning to you, it's supposed to make you feel like something is going wrong and see whether you're going to get scared of the social repercussions. I remember this a few years ago when I accidentally did it as well. I remember just ignoring someone. I don't know why I did it. I just didn't want to say good morning. Maybe I was just caught in a moment. And actually, they didn't say good morning to me. They just, normally what we'd do is we'd get eye contact with each other and we'd just probably do a head nod. But for some reason, I just didn't do it. And then the next time I saw him, that person ignored me. They blanked me. And that's when I realized, down the line later on, I realized what this thing is. So I made the mistake a few years later when I was deliberately being ignored. So when the good morning game was being played on me, my colleagues were ignoring me. Then I was forcing the good morning. I was saying good morning, like saying it loud for a few days in a row. And when you fail the good morning game, you're going to notice that people are going to treat you with more disrespect, because they know that they've got to you subconsciously. They know that they've managed to get under your skin and make you feel insecure. So the solution to the good morning game is never, under any circumstances, play this game. If you notice that you come into the office and the normal code of the office is to say good morning to people, and you're getting ignored for some reason, or no one's saying good morning to you, stop saying good morning to those people. those people playing a game, a dangerous game called the good morning game. And it's a way of making you feel secure and testing to see whether you're going to become, someone who is insecure in themselves. So just ignore them. By the way, I'd love to hear your experiences and what kind of tactics and what kind of things you've come up with as an introvert. Just comment down below. And I'd love to hear it. Finally, talking really fast. Talking really fast is something that I've experienced, and it's something that is really frustrating because as an introvert, one of the things that I've learned online about introverts is that we tend to be we want to get something done, and we want to get it done as efficiently as possible, and we don't want to make mistakes that make us have to go back to start. So when people talk really fast, it causes annoyance in introverts because they're more likely to, it's more likely to cause a mistake happening down the line because the details are all muddled up. And you may have experiences where people just talk really fast when you're trying to get an answer on how to do a complex procedure, or when you're trying to get the truth about a situation that's happened. So if you're in a position in your workplace where you have to deal with problems and you're trying to understand what happened step by step, you may experience this where people just talk really fast. And why do people do this? This is basically an adult way of causing confusion. This is a way that adults, so it's almost like little kids, when they're young, obviously, they find ways of telling lies and they have certain methods of telling lies. But as you get older as an adult, you can't use a child's methods of telling lies. So you come up with an adult way of doing it. And one of the ways of doing it is to talk really fast and hide the truth by doing this. And what they're hoping is that you're going to get so confused with the details that are coming through that you're not going to be able to catch up. You're not going to be able to understand where the start is, where the finish is. And so you're going to get half the truth, and you're not going to be able to find out exactly where that person did wrong or what happened. It's basically a way of protecting themselves. So the solution to this is actually very unintuitive, and I came about this accidentally. And the way to deal with this is to play this game called the quad end back game or dual end back game. And what this does is it speeds up your working memory. I remember when I first started this game, when I played it for a few weeks, for some reason I could suddenly understand what people were saying when they talked really fast. It just wasn't overwhelming me anymore. It just felt like things were just stacking up logically and I wasn't getting lost. And I just remember the looks of the faces of people when I could follow their sentences. They almost looked shocked. And this is because their tactic of talking really fast wasn't working anymore because my working memory had improved. So maybe you can try that out as an introvert. Try the dual and back or quad and back game. You can hit me up on the Introvert strategies and I can show you where this game is found online and how you can play it, the best version you can play online. With that said, hope these tactics are useful for you. Take care and peace.